Hello there, everyone. Hope you had a very Merry Christmas. It is December 31st. It is New Year's Eve. It's going to be a fantastic new year. I just know it. I want to talk a little bit about Jesus and about perseverance, and about sticking it out to the end and not taking an opportunity to escape out of your situation to make things better. So I watch a TV show. It's one of my favorites on TV. It's called Alone. If you haven't watched it, you ought to watch it. They take a bunch of contestants, they drop them off in the wilderness to see which one will survive the longest. They suffer great hardship, great deprivation, but each one of these contestants has a emergency radio available to them. And at any point in time during their journey, during their time in the wilderness, they can call this number, they can push a button, and help will come and get them out of that situation. They can tap out, if you will. The ones that win the show are the ones that refuse to tap out, the ones that push through the hardship. Jesus had several times in that demonstrated in Scripture, and we'll talk about three of them. First, in Matthew chapter 4, right after he's baptized, Jesus he goes into the wilderness for 40 days, 40 nights, and he's tempted by Satan. Satan says to him, throw yourself off this mountain and let the angels save you. No, I'm not going to do that. He says, turn these rocks into stones so you can eat bread, because I know you're hungry. Jesus says, no, man does not live by bread alone. Jesus did not tap out. He didn't use his godly power, his tap out button, in order to make things easier on himself. Later on, he's in the Garden of Gethsemane in Luke chapter 22. And in Luke chapter 22, it's kind of interesting. What he says is, he's here in the garden, and he's praying to God. He knows what's coming, and he says to God in verse 42, he says, Father, if thou wilt be willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but thy will be done. Jesus understood fully that he couldn't just use his powers. He was praying to God to sort of, if this be your will, let me out of this. But if it's not if your will is for me to go through it, I'll be willing to sacrifice. Then over in Matthew chapter 26, almost immediately after the last one I just mentioned, he is in the garden with his disciples, and the soldiers show up to arrest him. His soldiers want to fight. In fact, Peter cuts off the ear of one of the soldiers, and Jesus says, stop this fighting. He says, in verse 53, he says, do you not know that I can now pray to God, and he would send 12 legions of angels to help me? But I'm not doing that. I'm doing what God's will is. Too often in life, we have an opportunity to bail when things get tough. We have an opportunity to quit when the going gets rough. I think we have to develop that grit, that ability to stick it out, even when things seem hard, even when things seem really difficult. Because only when we stick it out do we eventually win. Stay strong, stay prepared, have a blessed day. We'll see you real soon right here on Cowboy Survival.